Hey guys, so I know it's been a while since I've been on my page, and um I'm having some problems with my other phone. It's not trying to record now. But I do want to say that, I've been learning a lot about just the way the world is and the way it works. And one of the things that, like, through my experience that I've gone through and just deciding to focus on the things that are happening versus the things that aren't is um people do a lot of things for control and through trying to feel something, trying to deal with their own existence in the world. And one of the things that I've always been the most proud of is my integrity and my autonomy, but also my open-mindedness and my ability to hold different points of information and to take that information and to apply it to myself and learn. And I've been making a lot of decisions about like what to do with the fact that things aren't really necessarily changing for the better, and that the things that have changed for the better is because I continue to be myself and I continue to be resilient and persistent and as consistent as possible, because that's also what's needed as a person that's surviving this type of trauma. I've realized how many people, like, in my life that I was the closest to, like, how long they've resented those qualities, because it's always came with like respect, kindness, compromise, endless compromise, love. But what they did not like and what they did not care about was the fact that I always had a boundary. And now that my boundaries have gotten even more, like, you know, as appropriate as it can be to the circumstances that are now here and that have been, and that now I've learned to regulate even more, because I know, what it means to deal with people who like resent that, and they also, regret that they can't have you in the same way they used to. So then they try to, through your reaction or through what they tell other people, through narratives that, you're this type of person. But I've been learning and noticing just throughout like different cultures, different spaces and places, that it attracts a lot of these people for reasons that are just very complex and layered that this video cannot contain. So I want to read a poem about, what this means to me and how I feel about it now. So it is March the 29th, I believe. Yeah, March the 29th, Sunday, March 29th. And I'm recording this video, and I want to read this poem because this is how I feel. I have no regrets. I do not regret being loving, understanding, compromising, kind, and respectful. Regret showed itself through the palpable reactions to my boundaries. I could wield the sharpness and force of this regret as it came to me, to my firmness, to my no. My boundary was a mutual gift of compassion and cooperation. It was always wrapped in love, kindness, understanding, endless compromise, and respect. Regrets were born from my uncontrollable autonomy, me finally realizing who I've always been, not needing an audience, living in my home of one. It was valuable to me, and an eviction notice to those who sought to cohabitate in insatiable conditions. I'm a minimalist because I exist in a variety of abundance. My character screams of resilient integrity even at my lowest, even in my most silent moments, even at my smallest, even louder than the loudest narratives. My character is more beautiful than any way I could ever look, as it's the most important part to me. I have no regrets for being me in a world that forces me to feel regret for what others decide to do to people like me. And in my home of one, for my spring cleaning, I'm almost done removing the regrets of others, because I have no regrets. I did want to say one part about the trafficking that I will share. I remember that the trafficker, he tried to get me to sleep with this guy, and we had hung out a couple times, and this was me not knowing that this was a part of the grooming process. And it wasn't just him, it was some other guys too. But he was trying to get me to, I guess, do a transaction with them. And this guy in particular was like, I can't do it. And he was like, what are you talking about? And he was just like, he kept looking at me. Like, for me to even like remember how I was just acting this way because of the cult that I was in, because of the family that like, and the environment of me just being abused for so long, sexually, mentally, emotionally, that I was just primed to just be so compliant. And I remember him saying, he was like, she not even like that. He was like, this is not who she is. And we had hung out, and like, I remember I had taken pictures of him. I used to have like this camera, this really nice camera. And I had did like a photo shoot, and he loved the pictures, right? And he was like, man, you're so talented, you know? And that's what so many people would tell me. And he said, he was like, you know, I look at her like she's a sister. He was like, I can't do this to her. And then the trafficker tried to do the thing where the traffickers try to make you seem like you're, you know, above, and you're like this, you're so desirable that, you know, everybody wants to sleep with you, and, you know, like, you know, you're so pure. And he was trying to frame it in that way. And you know how this type of person you have to be to even have the perpetrators say kind things about you. Even have your abusers say kind things about you. When I had to realize that it was because that's who I am, that shines through. That's why I wrote this in this poem. That's why people lie. That's why people can't fathom that a person that looks like me, that acts like me, has been through this amount of harm and trauma, but does not display it in a way that is harmful, regressive, and stagnant. If anything, I'm very competent. I'm aware. I can hold different spaces for truths, even if I don't like them, even if they're excruciating. I've been through the most excruciating pain, physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, like across the board. If anything, I haven't been a natural disaster. So the reason why people just want to believe everything that everybody says is because of the society that we live in. The scarcity mindset, it's cultural, it's regressive, it's stagnant. It's so many things that this video, it just can't hold, and I don't know how much memory I got. So I'm just going to leave y'all with this, that no matter what happens, this is the type of person that I've always been, and it always becomes apparent after some time. Either it's upfront, it's in people's face, or they know it. And because I don't play into what they feel that I should, once they know that they can't control me, once they know that I won't do what they need to do because it'll cause me to lose myself because they don't care, then they have to do these things. You know, that's their way of surviving. And yes, I understand it, but just like how so many people, past, present, and in the future, don't want to see me here, they don't care about my life. The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. So I have to be indifferent now, not because I don't love them, but because it's not safe to anymore. And I can't let that be something that people can exploit me for anymore, because people do not like me for that very reason. I loved everybody. All the friends that I had, all the relationships that I was in, platonic or romantic, I loved these people, and they knew that. And I always wanted to work with them. Like I said, compassion, cooperation. Like, it's so many conversations that I've had with so many people that I haven't told other people, because at that point, I just knew it wasn't worth it, because people just wanted to believe what they wanted to believe. And then people wonder, like, why is there so many people that's in your face that's doing this to you? Society doesn't want to hear this. People call it conceited. But when you exist in a way that is so beautiful beyond even the way that you look, and then you just happen to be beautiful, but your integrity and your character and everything shines through no matter what you do. People do not like that because you show them what they lack. And sometimes it's uncontrollable, but it doesn't matter what the intent is, because the impact is always harm, and somebody always has to lose something. And the worst thing that can happen to me is that I lose my life because I loved. And I don't like that it's safe for me not to love anymore, because I'm a lover girl. I'm romantic at heart. And that could be platonic or romantic. I just love. And that's the very thing that people don't like about me, is that that has not changed. It's just that they can't control my love. And now it's not for everybody. So I have no regrets, and I'm happy to live another day. I'm happy to be the type of person that I am. I'm happy to focus on the things that are happening and not the horrible things that have happened, because they happened and that's what it is and that's what it will be. But that's not who I am, and this is who I'll always be.